Okay. So I'm gonna weigh in on the Shara Seven spiritual whistleblower back and forth. I usually don't like getting into all of this, but I feel like the divine is pushing me toward talking about this because this is actually a very important topic. I talk about the divine masculine and feminine within, and the physical representation of the divine masculine and feminine as a couple. Um, and I'm not trying to exclude the LGBTQ community, but I have to talk about this because there are certain divine unions, divinely appointed unions that are destined to be together. And both men and women on this twin flame journey that ends up becoming a divine union, divine soulmate union, need to come together in order to assist with the balancing of the masculine and feminine energies on the planet and raising the frequency of the planet and restoring the relationships, the romantic relationships of the planet. So, whether you contribute to that individually by balancing your personal masculine and feminine, or collectively by being balanced yourself and joining with a masculine who is balanced and coming together in a divine union, you are assisting with the balance of the energies of the planet that are drastically out of balance currently. The reason why I wanted to weigh in on this is because Shira is an amazing teacher of how to tap into feminine energy, siren energy. But what happened was, in her 20s, maybe before she knew any better, she was on this, well, I just want a man to take care of me tip. So she married somebody older. And then she realized that this was a niche that she could build into an empire, which she has done just that. But the problem is that she's pushing an agenda that doesn't help women to balance their energies. It puts them in these relationships that are potentially super transactional, very toxic. You know, when people can hold money over your head, then that creates a power struggle where the woman is giving her power away in exchange for a certain lifestyle. But that could also lead to domestic violence, potentially fatal. And that's why the spiritual whistleblower was bringing up Janae, the girl that passed in Tanzania. Not saying that she even knows if she was a Shira follower or not, but this woman was building a platform as a lifestyle influencer. So if you are a lifestyle influencer, of course, you would need to be with someone who could enhance your lifestyle and help you to build your content. Not saying she would literally need this, but that's the mentality. But nobody talks about, and Shira's not going to talk about this. I know that there are allegations that they had domestic violence in their relationship and things like that. I don't know that for sure. I'm not going to speak on that. But I'm just going to speak in general. There are a lot of instances where women stay in very dangerous relationships because of the lifestyle and the image that they want to maintain. This idea is completely contradictory to the idea that Shira Seven is an alchemist, a divine feminine, and all of these things, because as that energy is the feminine energy is a very powerful creative energy. She has used that creative energy to build her platform. However, it's not encouraging women to be in loving, healthy, balanced relationships. And so what can happen is Someone who is so focused on the transaction, the money, the materialistic things, they're not working on themselves, they're not balancing their energies, and they're not with their twin flame, soulmate, divine masculine. And I'm not saying that everyone is on a twin flame journey, because these are very sacred missions. So when you're on a twin flame journey, you are a very high ranking spiritual being who is destined, it is ordained by the divine for you to be with your person so that you can then join together and complete your joint mission together. It is about balancing your energies individually and then coming together as two balanced representations of the masculine and feminine of source. Our masculine and feminine energies planet-wide are severely out of balance. And unfortunately, as powerful as Shira is, she's contributing to that imbalance. So now if people's focus is on the money, so they're further away from focusing on balancing their own energies. Because when I'm in an unhealthy, unhappy relationship, it's very hard to do the inner work. It's almost impossible to be living in your authenticity, which is very high vibrational and up there with love. That's why this shit is so extremely important. And I saw somebody on here talking about that the spiritual whistleblower was a narcissist, and Shira is this divine feminine, dark feminine alchemist, blah, blah, blah. I don't know what the spiritual whistleblower is like behind closed doors, but I 1000% agree with the message that the sprinkle lifestyle is a fallacy, because people are not talking about the crazy shit that happens in these relationships behind closed doors. I mean, we talking about domestic violence, substance use, all kinds of crazy stuff, okay? And so now Shira has completed this, time period with this man that I don't really think she enjoyed that much, but that's my opinion. I don't know her life. I'm not assuming anything. It just, from me, looking from the outside in, the way that she presents herself and the information about the relationship and all those things, it did not appear that it was happy. If it was happy and she presented it as mechanical just to push her agenda, that's even more diabolical, because now you're really deceiving people. So I would just say, really think about the fact that if this person, any woman, is considered a powerful alchemist, divine feminine in her creative energy, that energy does not need to join forces with a man or a woman or anybody to just be transactional for money, because she clearly has built an empire on her own. She said, because if James left her his estate, whatever portion of it, and then she has her own empire, she and her children are straight. But now she's talking about she doesn't want to get married again. So if she was on a twin flame journey, she still is young. She still has time to be with her divine masculine, but now she has relegated herself to never being married again. And she could be a powerful, very extremely powerful person to assist with balancing the energies of the masculine and feminine of the planet. That is an extremely major mission and purpose on this planet, and specifically from the divine. There's a problem here.